Hey everyone, welcome to the second community mod review on the Iron Workshop. In this review we will take a look at smaller mods created by the community members of the Iron Workshop, modders who have learned modding through the Iron Workshop. It's important to remember that these mods are created by smaller teams, sometimes even one person, so there is no way for these mods to reach the same level as those that are developed by large teams containing dedicated graphic artists, localization experts, historical researchers, and others. Let's roll the intro and get started. Victory of the Dual Monarchy mod takes place in 1936. In the timeline of the mod, Austria-Hungary is the major victor of World War I. The United States has refused to join the war on the side of the Entente, leaving Britain and France to fight on their own against the Central Powers after Russia was knocked out of the war. With no support from the US and the Entente focusing on the Balkans as their main front, Austria and Germany overtook the Anglo-French defenses in Europe and occupied France. Losing the war to the German alliance, a communist regime took power in France and declared an end to the war with the Central Powers. Britain refused to surrender, but after almost suffering a communist revolution of their own, conceded defeat in 1919, which brought an official end to the war. This is the setting of the mod in broad strokes. Unfortunately, the mod suffers from some weird plot holes that aren't explained and should probably be more fleshed out. For example, while not officially losing the war, Britain lost control of India, perhaps due to the fact that Austria took over the Suez Canal. But despite the UK no longer being in charge, the subcontinent was still partitioned between Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India, with Bangladesh being a puppet of Burma, which is also independent. Another weird plot hole involves Alexander Kerensky, who, according to the lore, was exiled after the Bolsheviks have successfully took over Russia, and yet when you start the game, Russia is ruled by the exiled Kerensky, and the Bolsheviks are only present in the Caucasus, with the evil mustache ruling the region along with Crimea. Overall, the lore is nice and interesting, but needs a bit more polish. The map. The map of the mod has been reworked and has some notable changes, although some of these raise some questions considering the fact that Austria is supposed to be the dominant power, according to the lore, and not Germany. Germany holds all the Anglo-French colonies in Africa, while Austria has taken territory in Asia. Perhaps this should be the other way around, since at the time Germany already had holdings in Asia and China, and it would make sense they would want to expand those, while Austria had very little previous engagements in the region. It would probably make more sense that Germany would grab the French colonies in Indochina and Africa to be divided between the two powers, instead of the lion's share going exclusively to Germany. Also, the fact that Britain and France lost all of their colonial possessions in Africa seems like an overkill and not very realistic. If France has decided to decolonize Africa due to their new communist regime, it would be nice to include this process in the mod and allow the player to either reverse it or decide on the scale of decolonization. Russia has been broken up and in large seems to follow similar setups we have seen in other mods like Kaiserreich, with various German and Austrian puppets ruling vast areas of the Baltics, Belarus, and Ukraine. Spain holds Gibraltar, but I found no explanation as to why, how, or when did they grab the territory from the UK. The communists are all but gone in China, no idea why, but it could be due to the failure of the Bolsheviks in Russia. The graphics. In terms of graphics, there isn't much new. The mod mostly reuses vanilla game graphics, but considering the setting and the fact that the development team is so small, that is understandable. Most nations have their portraits, although some of them seem to have been borrowed from other mods. Some of the focus trees have new graphics, and from time to time you will see some impressive icons, but these are rare and most of the focus trees use vanilla graphics or slightly altered vanilla focus icons. The gameplay. The mod does not introduce significant new mechanics, but playing as Austria there was a challenging mechanic to balance the various minorities of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. I wish there was a bit more focus on the Austro-German power struggle, but that is something which might be implemented in the future. Most major nations have unique focus trees, and while they are small, it's evident that effort and research was put into them. I hope these focus trees will expand in the future and will have more focuses that will put an emphasis on the new territories acquired by Austria and Germany, as well as their relations with their European neighbors. Other nations like Japan and the US have the vanilla focus trees, and these will probably be reworked in the future to reflect the new power balance in the mod. Performance. Since there are no new major mechanics in the mod, performance is fine and works pretty much the same as it does in vanilla Hearts of Iron 4. Sound and music. The mod has its own music mod and I recommend checking it out. In terms of sound, nothing new is included in the base mod, and it uses vanilla sound effects. Conclusion. Victory of the Dual Monarchy is still in its infant stages, but has great potential for the future. It has interesting alternate history lore to explore and try out. For the mod to really stand out, I think the developers should enhance the existing lore and its effects on the world, and especially the relations between Austria and Germany, who now have to split Europe between them and balance each other out. It will be interesting to see how the mod develops further. While there is still work to be done, I recommend you check it out. There will be a link to the mod in the description of this video. If you know of other small mods that you think are worth a look at, let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you found it helpful or interesting, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of new reviews when they come out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.